Good morning, Market Chameleons, and everyone joining us for the first time. Thanks for coming by and checking out the Market Chameleon pre-market webinar series. Please take a look at the disclaimer before we get started. Be aware that neither Market Chameleon, Dimitri, or myself are a registered investment advisor or a broker-dealer. We do not give recommendations for any particular securities. If you're searching for investment advice, please reach out to a licensed professional. This show, as all our shows, are for informational purposes only. With that, Dee, good morning.
Good morning, Will. How are you?
And today we're going to go over how to screen for unusual option volume and stock price action with
Yep.
one of our screeners, correct?
Yep. So let me share my screen here. And this comes from a question from a customer. And the question was related to a particular screen. How do I do it? Where can I find it? So I'm just going to demonstrate it here. And hopefully, if the customer is not watching it, I will email him the video afterwards. And it had to deal with unusual option volume, but how do I add other screens based on some stock price action during the day? So I'm going to use this stock screener, and in this stock screener, we've added lots of new tabs here that has analytics on the stock and on the options. So you can use the stock screener for this particular screen. And you have these different tabs up here allowing you to use the filters available. Okay. And the question had to deal with, how do I look for unusual options volume, as well as a move from the opening, the price, the gap, and also filter by spot price. And we're going to use filters to try to demonstrate how you could do that from the stock screener. You could save those settings once you're happy with the filters. You could save those settings, give it a name, and then if you look at it from day to day, you could just pull up that screen and those settings will automatically populate once you select your saved filters or saved presets. So let's go ahead and look how we could do this. The first part of it was looking for unusual options. And by the way, okay, the stock screener, it's up top. If you go to screeners on the main menu, and then it says stocks here, the first item, select that, you'll end up on the screen. I'm going to first go to the unusual options volume. How do we select that? And you can see that we have these different tabs here. I'm going to click on options, and now we have analytics surrounding options, and just going from left to right, you can see this is the stock symbol, stock price, price change. This is the stock volume. You have the implied volatility, the IV30, implied volatility change. This is the option volume on a day in Apple, because we're going left to right. This is the relative option volume. So the relative option volume takes the ratio of today's option volume, the most current one, which is this, and divides it by the average daily option volume using the last 90 trading days. Okay, so we're looking at, okay, on average, what is the option volume? Well, we need an average, so we need to define how many days. In this case, it's 90. Then we take that ratio. So if the ratio is above 1, it means that the volume today exceeds the average daily volume. If the ratio is below 1, like over here, 0.9, that means that the ratio is indicating today's volume is below the average. Okay. So we could use the relative option volume to filter out what could be unusual. right? So what's unusual would be, much higher than the average daily volume. And we could set whatever, the number we want. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go here on price, volume, and technicals. And here under volume, you can see we have stock volume, option volume, relative option volume. So let's say we're looking for something unusual, maybe 3 times its average daily volume. So you could put above 3. And then now you could see we have 367 items from originally over 11,000, okay, that are in our screener. And we have all these stocks, which the relative volume is above 3, okay, as you can see here in this column. But some of them, may have very low average daily volume. Like here's 180, 195. Maybe we want to filter those out because we want a certain amount of volume, at least. We want to see like, some liquidity in there. So let's just say we want the option volume on a day to be above 5,000. So click that. Now we have 73 items, right? So here are all the items. Here are the relative volume. And here's the option volume. Okay, so WMT, 423,000 contracts traded, but that's 4 times its average daily volume. So now that we have that, the next question had to deal with price movements at the open. So let's go here to price performance. Oh, sorry. Let's go to technical. It's under technical. And on the technical side, we see different percentage moves based on, reference prices. It depends when we look at percentage moves. It depends what you're referencing, right? What's the first data point to the last data point, and then the percentage difference. So here, percent opening, this would be jump or gap, would be from the previous day's close to the opening price. So that's the opening gap. Okay. So if we wanted to look at the opening gap and filter by that, we could go here, percent open jump. And let's say we're looking for something that was initially up on the day, maybe like a bullish, a bullish price action at the open. And let's say we're looking at like at least 2%. So here's 2%. And then if we look here, all of a sudden now we have 11 items. So here we have a stock. This was up 2.4% at the open. This was up 9.2% at the open. This was up 5.5%. So now what we did was we filtered out stocks that have unusual option volume, right? These are our filters here, at least 5,000 contracts or more. And that's 3 times its average daily option volume. So something could be going on. And that its initial opening price, displayed a bullish sentiment or bullish manner, goes up by at least 2%. But let's say we want to go further than that and say, okay, it was up in the morning, but if it didn't hold to those gains, if it didn't hold on to that initial opening mark or opening price and started to fade, maybe that's not as, such a bullish signal, because it's just kind of closing the gap and it was an overreaction, maybe covering shorts or, capitulation, and then the stock went down. For instance, here's one, EH. It was up 3.3% at the open, but then after the opening, if we use the new reference price, opening price, it went down 10%. So you can see on the day it was still down 7%. So let's say we wanted to see something that continued rising. So now it opened up, and then after continued to rise from that opening price. So that the demand, even after that, was strong enough to keep pushing the price higher. So we go here, change from the open. And let's say we're looking for something that currently is added another at least 2%. So I'm going to put this up 2%. So now we have 6 items here. Yeah. Here's AUR up 9.2% at the open, and then gained another 12% after the open. So now we're up 23% on the day here, right? And it has unusual option on. We could go back to the options tab here, and we could see here AUR trades 20,000 contracts in options. That's 4 times its average, and so on. Let's come back to the technicals. So now we have these 6 items. So the last part of the question is, how can I control the also the minimum spot price? So here's the stock price, $6.19. But maybe you're looking for something that's a little bit higher price, maybe the under 10, or maybe you're not interested in those. Even though there's 6 of them here, it's very easy to just sort them out. But if we wanted to come back and go to price, and let's say we want the price to be above $10. Okay, we're not interested in the under $10 stocks because they're already maybe low priced, and the options, you're not interested in those options. So let's pick above $10. Okay, so now we only have two items, ZETA, AKLO, that meet those 3 conditions. And what we have here is, let's just repeat the 3 conditions. It's stocks that have unusual options volume, the way we defined it here, that had an opening up move, right? So the move from the previous day's close to the open was at least 2% or higher, up 2% or higher. And there's follow through that after the open, the stock added at least another 2% or more from the opening price. Okay, so continue to go higher from that initial opening print. In addition, we narrowed it down to stocks that have to be above $10. So the spot price has to be more than $10. And now we have our items filtered out. We only have 2 of them, and we could go do our analysis based on those conditions. So now we have two items to really analyze, look at, whatever, read the news, check out the options chain, see if things line up that interest you or look like an opportunity. But what we did was we narrowed down the candidates from 11,264 initial stocks to 2. Now we only have 2 of them to analyze, and that met all these conditions. So let's just say, we worked hard at this narrowing down of candidates, and we like these filters as our starting point. And we like these filters as our starting point to do analysis maybe the next day or the day after, if I come back in a week. So what we could do is say save new preset and give it a name. So to save it, we needed a name so we could come back and pull it up, and something that we could remember it by. And we could do something like bullish, gap, and follow through, I mean, you could probably make it shorter, with unusual option volume. Just whatever you want to name it. Uh, Unusual option volume, and save it. Right? Hit save. So once you hit save, it will be in your list. Here, bullish gap and follow through with unusual option volume. Just give it a name that you'll remember. So let's see how that works. So I'm going to reset this whole stock screen. Let's refresh our screen. And we're back to all 11,000 items, right? Apple, NVIDIA, you could see all of them are in here. So we could, instead of going back and putting all those filters in, we'll say, oh, let me just take a look what I have in here. Oh, let me see how the, bullish gap and follow through with unusual option volume looks like. We click it and boom, it populates those filters for us. And we're back to those two candidates that we originally set, that we originally got. So that's one example of how to use the stock screener, and I use the three conditions. I didn't get the exact conditions, the person's looking at, but these were the filters that the customer was referencing as the starting point. How can I do the unusual option volume, spot price, and the price action at the open and during the day? So I'm going to end it right there, Will, because that kind of completes that demonstration.
That was a great demonstration, D. Hopefully the user was on today. If not, we can send him the link. Remember, anyone bring your questions, send them to us at support@MarketChameleon.com. If you have any questions about any of the tools, it will make a great morning show for us and be very helpful to all the chameleons out there. Awesome job, D, as always. Thank you, chameleons, for coming today. Everyone have a great, safe trading day. Great job, D.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. Stay safe out there. Have a great trading day and hope to see you guys